Okay, you've heard of MythBusters, yes? The show where Adam Savage and Jamie Hyneman take on these challenges. Well, they've got one from the President of the United States on the December 8th show, a challenge to replicate an experiment or what is supposed to have been a historical fact, but we don't know for sure, in ancient Greece, where the Greek soldiers used their shields to focus the rays of the sun on the incoming Roman fleet and set it on fire. How'd you get this challenge? You've tried this before, right?
We have actually tried this twice before on the show, but the first time we tried mirrors in a circular array on a large platform, and the second time we actually tried scale mirrors set on a bunch of wooden racks. But we had never tried this myth in the exact way that Archimedes supposedly had done it, which was 500 soldiers on the shore with polished shields directing the sun's rays at an enemy boat. We hadn't tried it with the actual soldiers.
Okay, back to that in a minute. Tell me about going into the White House and talking to the president about this.
Well, we went into the White House library, and the president explained that he wasn't quite satisfied with our earlier experiments, and so we needed to take things full scale. And also, I have to say, this is part of the president's STEM initiative: science, technology, engineering, and math. And so we used, actually, instead of 500 soldiers, we used 500 school kids, actually high school and middle school students from my wife's high school, where she teaches science in Alameda, California.
So what were they holding, like shields, mirrors?
Well, actually, we had polished mirrors on one side, and then the closest replication we could get to a large polished bronze shield, which was actually a sort of a bronze mylar on the other side. We tried both.
And where'd you do the experiment?
On a boat slip in Alameda, California, right across the bay from San Francisco, right next to Encinal High School, which is actually the high school that not only supplied all 500 of our soldiers, but is actually a high school where Jamie's wife teaches science.
Where'd you get the Roman trireme?
Well, we decked out an abandoned lifeboat from a cruise ship that we put the prow on and a square rigged sail with stripes on it, and I got to stand on the bow of this while this was happening in a fire suit, but among other things holding a broiler rack full of weenies to roast.
Very good.
In the sun rays, along with trying to set the boat on fire.
And hurling tennis balls at us. We wanted to know, when we were within weapon distance, obviously.
Okay, and are you going to tell us how it comes out?
Absolutely not.
Huh? Okay. Well, I can understand that. I mean, this is December 8th is the episode, right?
Yes.
And, we want to see it and see if the third time you can make it work.
Third time might be a charm.
So the White House tells us that MythBusters has an average of 13 million viewers every week. Popularity particularly among 9 to 14-year-olds. What impact do you think the show has on kids?
Well, I'd point out that neither Adam or I are scientists. We're not engineers or anything of the sort. We just have a lot of fun, and the thing is that fun for us happens to involve
satisfying
science.
Our curiosity.
Yeah, satisfying our curiosity, and that means you kind of have to be methodical and careful about it. So we sort of do science, and it seems to have attracted the interest of a lot of kids. I think if we had gone about this by trying to do science, it probably wouldn't have appealed to them at all. As it is, we're just kind of screwing around and it works.
Yeah, I mean, we never set out to start trying to teach kids about science, and we try and remain ignorant of that as a mission because we feel like kids can smell that from a mile away.
Sure.
And that they see that there's a veracity to what we're doing. The narrative of every show is an honest narrative about our disagreements and how something might work and how we figured out that it actually does work.
Where do you get the ideas for the experiments if the president doesn't ask them?
They come from everywhere. We've got a master list that we're constantly adding to. Some news story might show up, a strange factoid we might come across in a book. Probably about 30% of what we do comes directly from fan submissions. We'll have a movie sound recorder send me a list of things that he thinks we should try, and they're all good, so we put them into an episode. You never know.
Well, I'll tell you something. Our Christina Ruffini, who's right here in this room, had a question, which we might have asked anyway, but she thought of it first. When you were kids, did you ever dream that you'd be able to make careers out of blowing stuff up?
No.
No, not so much.
If you had seen both of us as kids, you might see the path from there to now. But if you saw us then, you wouldn't go, those kids are going to blow stuff up on TV one day.
Well, we're going to find out on December 8th if you can actually set a ship or at least a boat on fire with 500 shields pointed at the sun. Because we don't really know whether Archimedes succeeded, do we?
We don't. We know that mirrors can be harnessed in order to set things on fire. Everyone's seen the experiment with the solar cooker and a hot dog, and that's a doable thing. The question isn't, can you set fire to stuff with mirrors? The question is, can 500 soldiers with polished shields actually make a viable military weapon? That's the question we answer.
And the answer will be revealed on the December 8th episode of MythBusters. So, we want to thank you both very much. Jamie, Adam, great to have you.
Thanks very much.
Thanks.